So I just found out that it's very difficult to get the front lower control arm out of the driver's side of my 2011 Toyota Sienna. So I imagine other people are going through the same thing. Now it looks like the motor's got to move, there's a motor mount in the way, all sorts of things. Let's go over that quick. I'll show you how I got it out with the least invasive way possible. All right, you can see that my bushing is shot. I found this out. I was tightening lug nuts from balancing tires the other day and the whole control arm was moving. Looked under there. This whole control arm bushing is gone. It's cracked through. So the issues that come into play with this are this motor mount blocks this bolt right here. So what I did is I loosened up the bottom 3 bolts for that, and I jacked up the motor just enough. It's pretty much to the motor's limits, just enough to get this up out of the holes so I could access this. Using a box end wrench, put the bolt in, the wrench on this bolt here, and broke it loose in tiny movements until I could take it out by hand, just under the motor mount here. So I reached the wrench in through here. Now it comes out and it's like very tight against it. I actually used a pry bar to pop the bolt up and out. This is just a bolt through with a nut, so I use an impact to break that loose. And then if you do that, you just have the lower ball joint. I had to use a wrench to get the nut out of this small space here, and then just pound it on the spindle until the taper breaks loose on the ball joint. So that's about it. And that sucker just rotates out of here. I will put the other one in and then kind of show you everything up and in, and then I will put the motor mount back down. We'll go from there. Alright, when you fit this up in here, you're going to want to get this bolt at least down into the socket that it slides into, down in there. And then after that, I used this one to kind of get it lined up, because the bushing wants to ride at an angle until it's set in place. And then, yeah, that just takes a long, painstaking way of getting this bolt started and then using an open-end wrench to tighten it down. Alright, both of those are in, so we can pop the motor mount back down in place, and then when we lower the motor, we'll tighten that all back up. Now we need to line this bushing up. I have the bottom pretty much in line, it's just it's at an angle because the arm's dropped right now. So we have to get the top in line, push it up through, and then get a nut on it. Alright, did some prying to get that lined up without putting too much pressure on the rubber because we don't want to damage it. Push that up through. Now we just have to get this on. While I was lining that up, I put the lower ball joint in. When you do that, as soon as you get it started in here, you have to put the nut on before you push it all the way up, because there is very little clearance between here. So you have to have the nut on before you push the ball joint all the way in. So that tightened up, and then we will put a cotter pin in the ball joint and we can get this thing back together. And we will lower the motor down, tighten up the motor mounts, and then put the plastic caps back in on the bottom to protect the bolts that go through for the for these. And that's it, all back together. Get the wheel on, we got a van again.